how far would you go to look perfect? Did I sound like the announcer guy?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think that was too much drama, though.
Oh.
For what's to come.
No! It's so dramatic.
Anyway, this week.
We got a bad one, a stinker.
Yeah. You know, not every flower blooms.
No.
And this one didn't, I guess.
In fairness, we did know what we were getting into ahead of time because we had seen some previous work of this director.
We did. And we talk about that.
Yeah.
I think at length.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
You know, there are some lessons here.
Sure.
Mostly what not to do.
Right. Mostly don'ts.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's kind of what happens. And,
yeah.
I mean, what do? You know? You watch it and you learn from it. And, yeah, you think,
Did I just waste 90 minutes of my life?
Yeah.
No, because I learned what not to do.
Yeah. So we had some fun with it, talking about it. We did stop the movie a couple times. We don't mention this in the episode, but we did stop it a couple times to, So help me out here. Did this just happen? Did this, crazy stuff. But anyway, I don't know. It can be a fun movie to watch. I think we do reference, if you want like a drinking movie. A little bit of a spoiler. Every time they have one of those long monologues on what the, point of the whole thing is supposed to be.
Right.
You take a shot every time it goes over 1 minute. None of you will make it.
That's true.
You might not even make it to the end of the movie. You'll be on the floor just gurgling.
Yeah. Also, anytime you're confused about what's happening or why something's happening.
Yeah.
You'll die.
Yeah.
If you drink every time that happens.
Yeah. Or if you ask the question as we did, what?
Huh? Wait.
So, yeah. And we you'll hear when we talk about it. It's coming up. It's coming up. So
I don't know how we could get people more jazzed to listen to us talk about this movie.
Well, because, sometimes it's fun listening to people talk about something that was less than stellar. I
mean, get jazzed. We riff a lot on this thing.
Yeah. This would make an excellent riff tracks.
Oh, would.
Their minds would explode. All right. Shall we get into this thing?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it. Hey, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Jim.
And this is Danny.
And we are here with another movie for some lessons this week.
Yes.
As with every week.
Most weeks. Some weeks we have interviews.
Right, but there's lessons.
Yeah.
And fun. And nonsense.
What?
Yeah.
Nonsense. On this program?
Yeah.
On this internet radio program?
Coincidentally, there is nonsense in what we're going to be talking about. Not a lot of fun. Spoiler.
I think there's lessons to be learned here.
Oh, there are lessons to be learned. This one's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting talk on a lot of things.
Yeah. What did we do this week?
I don't know. Not a lot. It's kind of a busy week. I mean, we recorded late and I was editing and We didn't go anywhere. We did D&D.
Yeah, we swapped back to the other campaign.
Yeah. That was a killer kickoff.
Oh, thank you.
A lot of fun. Went till after 2.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Which is our usual kind of thing. Yeah. What did we do Friday night?
Surely we did
something. We did D&D with, duh.
Midge DM'd.
Yeah, Midge was the DM.
How could you forget?
Because I have a hard time remembering exactly what transpired today.
What did transpire today?
Anger and sorrow.
Yeah. Those arms.
Another fucking failure at finding iPad arms.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. They're all junk. They're all lying.
It's garbage.
So the second set I need to send back. Fuckers. That's pretty much it. I don't think a whole lot has happened. We started watching Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes.
Still going on with Lovecraft Country. We saw an episode of that earlier this evening.
Mm-hmm.
We were both kind of not sure about that one.
Yeah, I mean, they're interesting, but they're a little weird and disjointed.
Yeah, and anyone who's watching it, we watched the one where, the portal opens up and...
Yeah.
To what? What?
I was going to say, go on. I'll finish mine after.
It didn't further the story, in my opinion. We just kind of did this whole big loop-de-loop and ended the episode right where we began, which, when we were talking about it afterwards, I was like, do you think everyone got COVID and they just brought a new group in and they're like, hey, let's just do this and we'll end where we began. And then when they come back, they can just take over the story again.
I don't
know.
But in fairness, it was billed as a weird show. And it is delivering as a weird show.
Well, I like weird shows, I mean, like Twilight Zone, that was the whole thing. Was just weird, right? But it was self-contained. Everything was its own thing.
Right?
It wasn't like some sort of subversive Stephen King, a character floating through, Flag floating through different books from Dragon Eyes to, got The Stand and then Dark Tower. And it's like comic books do that too. They have these that span different titles.
Right.
And little things that come back up. This was just weird. Singularly weird in that it actually made me call into question the plot of the series in general. Like, if that was the end, if that's what they were going for, why? Didn't seem super cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about it, but this isn't the place.
No, because
it's not an indie film.
Nope, and it's not a Lovecraft Country podcast.
That's true.
But we did also start Physical, came back for another season.
Yeah, I really enjoy that show.
We're very quietly, patiently awaiting the return of the final season of Peaky Blinders.
Oh, soon.
Also trying to figure out where the actual last episode of the last fucking season of Attack on Titan is.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Who knows?
Why won't they play it?
Because I don't know. They're doing the OEDs or whatever.
What's up, Crunchyroll?
Crunchyroll.
But anyway.
So.
Yeah. I can't think of any entertainment news that's really big. I don't want to talk about the Johnny Depp thing.
No, let's not talk about that. Do you know what? I saw an article earlier. It wasn't it's not like breaking news, but it was just an article about how very nice Paul Rudd is.
There's been a lot of articles on Paul Rudd. Well, he got Sexiest Man of the Year.
Yeah.
And then just a bunch of nice guy articles. And
yeah.
I hope it's 100% true. Because I have no reason to think it's not. But I mean, we've talked about it. We just need genuinely nice people in Hollywood.
Right.
right? People who just aren't pricks because they become stars.
Yeah.
Down to earth, homegrown, just, good people.
Just a nice dude.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a little clip where he was talking to Stephen Colbert, and Stephen Colbert's like, oh, we were at this thing one time, and, my daughter was there, and you entertained her for like an hour singing Oops, I Did It Again over and over and over again with her. And I just think that was really nice of you. And Paul Rudd responded, he was like, well, that's very kind of you to say, but you've got it wrong. She was entertaining me.
There you go. Home run.
I know.
Oh. Well, since we don't really have anything to go over, and I've already complained about these iPad arms, whatever they're called, extensions, things, technological failures.
Yeah.
We wanted to get into a slightly different movie this week.
Yes.
Because, we are horror fans.
We haven't done horror in so long. It's been itching
and
at me.
I looked at the list, the next one up on it. I mean, all of these are, of interest to us. But, not really a list of horror on there. And I thought, you know what? I feel like doing a horror movie.
I get it.
It's been a while. You agreed. So I went and we looked. Now, I want to preface this with a couple of things. Number one, I had a bit of a time thing.
Yeah.
Tubi, that wonderful category of,
female directed.
Yeah. Bam. Female directed horror. So we're going through. Now, what we did do is we have skipped past everyone that has a female director and a male director, right? Because we figured, nope, that's not what it's about. And a lot of times a female director's name will be added for some sort of entry into a festival or to just get that kind of thing, right? It just doesn't seem right to me.
Well,
and I'm not saying they're all like that.
No.
But here's the deal. We're supposed to be focusing on women, so not women and a guy directing.
Right.
I just think that's, next time we'll do that.
Yeah.
But we went through the list and we landed on, Midge was there.
Yes.
And we showed her the trailer for Leprechaun Game.
The Leprechaun's Game.
Leprechaun's Game.
Yeah.
That horrible, we've talked about it on here, not for the show, but we just made mention that we watched it. And it was so bad. Oh my God.
It was rotten.
So what did we end up doing?
Well, we found another movie by the same director.
Yep. And guess what, folks? We went with it.
We're going to talk about it.
Let's do it. Tell us about this movie so we can talk.
Well, I have some information for you.
Sure.
This movie is called Doctor Carver. However, on IMDb, it is called Conjuring the Plastic Surgeon. Surgeon? Surgeon, yeah. Both titles are, Dr. Carver sounds cool, but I don't feel like it's very accurate. But anyway, this movie was made in 2021, directed by Louisa Warren, written by Shannon Holiday and Louisa Warren, starring, and this is in no particular order because on IMDb, I don't know why, they just listed them in weird orders. Sure. I don't even know if these are accurate, honestly, but.
It would just be one more thing about this film to call into question.
Well.
Not surprising. But this is what we've got going.
Here's the cast.
Okay.
Chelsea Greenwood, Danielle Scott, Sophia Lacey, Zuza Tehanu, Mia Blackman, and Ricardo Freitas. Mm-hmm. It was not rated. What?
Nothing.
It doesn't deserve a rating.
I didn't say it.
Here's the logline. A group of ladies seeking the perfect faces soon realize when they conjure a demonic plastic surgeon that I literally can't say surgeon today.
Tell me to say it?
No, let's try this again from the top.
Bring it.
A group of ladies seeking the perfect faces soon realize when they conjure a demonic plastic surgeon that no surgery comes without a price.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed it on the first try.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this film. Let's just get into it.
All
I have
right.
so many thoughts.
I know. Yeah, we'll get through this. And we have mood lighting.
Yeah, it's red.
Yeah. Because it's more anyway. So we start off with a montage of random shots of a bloodied woman. Now you got me. Of a bloodied woman doing little bits with various surgical items, just handling this, that, I don't know. And then a woman, Sunny, is tied to a chair in a bedroom. And a nurse of some sort comes in, starts chanting, and then a hideous figure appears behind the crying Sunny. The nurse asks, "What do you want to change about yourself?" And Sunny replies, "I don't want this."
Love it.
So the hideous thing behind her grabs a face mask, sets it, and by face mask, I mean like a facial... What is there? I don't know. I'm not a sauna spa person.
Oh, it's just a cloth face mask. Like they have moisturizers and stuff in them. You lay it on your face, and
yeah,
it's just a mask.
Like Midge gets the fold up masks. Yeah, it's
like a spa mask.
Yeah, sets it on her face, and then we have smoke or steam. Couldn't tell.
It sizzles.
Yeah, as she starts screaming, and when it's peeled off of Sunny's face, her face is bloodied and mangled.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to a photo shoot, sort of. So the photographer's using a fucking phone.
Yeah.
And he's being a dick. And the woman is posing against what I could only describe as a giant hay compost heap.
Accurate.
Thank you. So many things wrong with that. But more importantly, this woman is supposed to be 24. Everything else visually says differently.
She maybe had some hard teenage years to be 24 and looking like that. Like she's 40.
I think it looked more like she had some hard teenage years and years in her 20s. But anyway, I didn't like this bit at all because it is so tropish. You have a photographer. First of all, the guy's using his fucking phone, so he's not a photographer. So that just right there just blew it, you know. And he's just being like a monstrous prick, just like fucking.
Well,
you know.
Second of all, he's covering the lens on his phone with his finger.
Yes, so not even holding his phone correctly. So anyway, later they end up at his place. I guess it was his place. He's ripping on her about not aging well. I can't help but wonder if they wrote that in to explain the situation.
Yeah.
But he's just like running her down. He suggests she gets surgery and then proceeds to grope her. It's a general smarmy scene.
I love how at one point she says, "This isn't very professional." And I was like, what was your first clue?
Right? The phone?
Him not knowing how to take photos on his phone?
So then we cut to her sitting in the shower. She's crying. And then later she's sitting with some woman at night at a table. And I guess it's her agent. We find out, yeah, it is. And the agent's telling her that given her age, it's tough out there. And she can't compete with the younger girls. The agent is dropping her.
Uh-huh.
So the woman wants to get her nose done, thinking that will fix everything. And then begs the agent to give her a chance. So the agent says, fine. So she's like, let me get it done in like 6 weeks or whatever, 2 months after it's all healed up. I'll be getting stuff.
Right.
That's what I don't understand. The agent would know.
Things will just happen.
Yeah. And then we cut back to that weird bedroom with it's got hideous wallpaper.
Oh, it's horrendous.
Just floral.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to say more. But it's hideous for floral. And then I didn't understand this. So Sunny is laying on the ground, and I wrote, I guess she's coughing up pus.
Right.
Because there's also like pus coming from her face wounds. Unless like at some point before they started rolling, she like, and it got up on the makeup. But I don't know. There's a pus thing going on. And then the nurse says, lucky number 3 as Sunny dies. Then back to the model who is going on about perfect this or that with some guy. And this whole weird, uncomfortable conversation. He turns out to be like a pretty level-headed dude.
Right.
You know, his name is Dan. She's arguing with him that she needs to do this. And he doesn't understand where she's suddenly like getting all up and on about this.
Right.
Know? And he's like the perfect response from a boyfriend, right? Is you don't need any cert. You're fucking perfectly fine. Beautiful. Why are you doing this, you know, for what? She's not listening.
Well, so then we have her, she's watching a video on the internet, and it's some like YouTube tool talking about her latest photo shoot.
The hay compost mountain shoot.
And he's talking about it negatively, mentioning her nose, saying she has like a horsey face or something, and that she's old. And we found out her name is Tanya.
Yeah.
And she obviously doesn't like this video.
No.
And then we have the next day, she's like filling out some resume or something. And then she gets a call. And it is the blonde maniac woman, the one who was, you said she was dressed as a nurse. I do not think it looks like a nurse's outfit at all. So I just call her Blondie.
It's a white button-up thing with the trim. She did nursey stuff.
I don't think.
In as far as you can in a terrible room with awful wallpaper.
In like the loosest definition of what you could call maybe that is a nurse's outfit, that is what it is.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
It could also just be a painting smock. So anyway, this woman tells Tanya that she's won some free cosmetic surgery, but she has to go that evening to the place to get it or something.
Yeah.
And Tanya's very excited about it, and Dan, the boyfriend, is suspicious. Naturally.
Yeah, I quote, Dan is righteously skeptical of this whole thing.
So she's driving to this place, which is apparently, I mean, there's like a cut scene of it being out in the middle of nowhere, and then it's like her driving into what looks like maybe either a dog park or the entrance to a junkyard. And through an industrial part of town? Yeah,
because the shot of the house that we're it's a proper estate, right? This thing has got, like, the front yard is like 100 acres. And it's just like nothing but land around it.
Right.
And then, it looked like she was in the forgotten industrial section of Leeds or something. And
then driving into either a dog park or a junkyard.
Well, it was a dog park, because remember the sign?
Yeah.
With the poop. Where to put the poop bags.
Yeah.
She drove into a dog park.
So she gets there, and there are 3 other girls who have one surgery. So the blondie nurse lady says that they like their surgery facility to feel like a home. And when she pulled up to it, it's just this little house. It's not the estate that we saw.
No.
It's just this dinky little house.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, well, that's convenient. For cheap filmmaking purposes, I guess. Mm-hmm. So she goes and checks into her room, and in there is a sheet where she can indicate what she wants changed. And I fucking love this because it's like a sheet that you would give to like someone who was like sexually assaulted and be like, where did they touch you?
It is. Yeah. So folks, if you've watched any crime dramas and you've seen like an autopsy report being handed out, or you've watched a documentary where they show like an autopsy report, the shows actually resemble the real thing, right? It's a basic sketch of a human. But yeah, this looked like fucking Elmo drew it.
I know.
And then they give those fat fucking markers.
Yeah. Like a Sharpie. So she circles the nose and is like, oh, I've filled out all this paperwork. Woo. Are you okay?
Yes. Oh my God, it only gets better.
So then she's in the bathroom chatting with this other girl who's there, who's apparently getting her boobs done. So.
Can I just say, she's not 24 either.
No.
Just to make that clear.
So then they're in this room with like a bunch of tea lights, and there are these bottles of liquid, and they're like the stylistic bottles that you would fill with colored water and put on a windowsill for decorative purposes.
Yeah. Or that they put olive oil in and then stuff the different things in there.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're never supposed to use them.
Right, you're supposed to put them on a shelf. They're just that way so you can see through them from all sides. Yeah. Then they got that.
They have some like red liquid in them. Yeah. So Blondie just tells them to drink it, and they just do. And then it's kind of like they're all in this sort of weird drug-induced haze. And then Blondie starts chanting Belphegor, and then like this bloody figure appears briefly, and it's the one that messed up the girl in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
So Tanya, and then like no, there's no follow-up to this. It just is.
Right. Oh, well, what I love is that Belphegor appeared. We see it, but they don't.
Right.
Now, we had just seen it previously.
I know.
What I mean, did it like leave and it's got to come back? Is it like a fucking dog that keeps running off? You got to keep calling it back. So I just made a note that they went out of their way for this scene to show us that the chanting worked.
I guess. Which is weird because it's followed up by this. Blondie tells Tanya she gets to go in first for her consultation. So she goes into the bedroom, and it's that same bedroom with the horrendous wallpaper.
Yes.
And Blondie gives her a hand mirror and tells her to look into it and call for Belphegor until they appear. And then she just walks out. And Tanya's like, okay. So she does this for a while. I'm sorry, this is so stupid.
I know.
So she does that for a while, and then the lights go red, and then I guess it's Belphegor. I call it the Doctor pretty much for the rest of the movie.
I wanted to do that, but I figured it was like one of the only solid names that we got.
That's fair.
And I thought, I'm going to use this because, yeah, we have Tanya and Dan. But I don't know how long Tanya's going to last. And, I mean, this is the main spooky thing.
She does really seem like a first to die kind of gal in a horror movie.
Yeah.
So, anyway. So, Belphegor appears. And then Tanya tells her, I want my nose fixed. And then Belphegor draws some lines on it. And then lights come back on, and Blondie comes in and is like, okay, your consultation's done. You can leave now. Later, Tanya is telling Boob Girl, because we don't have a name. It's the girl from the bathroom earlier, so I just call her Boob Girl.
Yeah, I called her Boob Job Lady.
Sure. That's maybe nicer than my...
Well, yeah, I named them after their procedures.
Yeah.
Because once again, it didn't seem too important to give us any names.
So anyway, she's telling Boob Girl that she feels groggy and weird. And they're talking, and neither of them remember their consultation or what the surgeon looked like. But this doesn't trouble them at all. End scene. Next day. Are you okay?
Yeah. It makes me wish we were doing video again. Because just your face. It's such contempt. Anyway, I'm sorry. Please continue.
So the next day, Blondie is watching Tanya, who's on the phone talking to Dan.
I'm sorry. I was so busy. Did we mention boob job lady's unusual problem?
Oh, that she has the biggest breasts of anyone in this film and says that they look like pancakes.
Yeah. I was trying to understand that. I have to address, we'll be talking about this again because it's that ridiculous. But yeah, she's like, what are you here for? Isn't it obvious? And at first I thought, no. And then she grabs these giant tits and goes, flat as a pancake. What? Okay. Anyway.
So.
Yes.
Tanya's talking to Dan and Blondie comes up and she's clearly not happy that Tanya has a phone signal.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it's weird that you have usually they don't work out here. And she's straight up fucking glaring at Tanya. And Tanya's like, oh, I don't know. My phone's just fine. And that's it. And then I just love the way these scenes are so dumb. And then there's no tether to reality at all.
So far, everything that we've seen watching this, it is literally like somebody dropped in a scene and then just dropped in a scene and dropped in a scene. Yeah. There's no flow.
Well, it's like it rocks suspension of disbelief to the core when you're watching this and you're like, okay, I guess she's supposed to be the main character. Is she really this dumb and naive? I can't possibly believe that anyone would be this dumb and naive.
Well, let me tell you, it is true because there are 3 other women.
I know.
Who are just as fucking dumb and naive in this plot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, blondie nurse lady starts talking to the other girls. And apparently it's one's turn to go and have her surgery done.
Botox lady.
Yes. So yeah, there's boob girl, Botox girl, and liposuction lady. Girl. Yeah. So she goes into that bedroom with the wallpaper and the surgeon is like prepping a needle and it's fucking hilarious because she's like flicking it so hard and there's like a giant air bubble in it. And it's like, that's not how you prep. Okay. They do that all the time in movies to look more like sinister.
Yeah.
Like flicking the needle.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you noticed this, but none of these needles are real.
Well, yeah, I know that.
The tip, which is like the needle bit, jiggles.
Yeah. Well, because it's
poorly done.
It's the retraction kind. So when you stick it, it slides up.
No, it's it's CGI'd onto the end because they couldn't have an actual needle on the set. So they faked a needle on the end of just a plain syringe.
That's right.
Yeah. And it jiggles like it
is
floating in space on the end of the syringe.
It's the same syringe. They do show it. It does have a needle on it, but it's one of those like 1/8 inch. I don't know what the hell it's for, but you've seen them. It's the big syringe.
It's a squirty tip.
And it has that little thing on the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, because it's the same fucking one every time. But yes, now I know. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only had the one. So, then we get to see the face of Bellathor or whatever.
Belphegor.
Bellathor is the anyway. Belphegor. Sure. I mean, either way. Who has a very messed up face. It's pretty rad. Clearly a mask, but like obviously super fun.
Right. They did some stuff with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best effects in the film. So this girl wants Botox, and she says she wants the most clear, youthful face she can have, like glass.
Yeah. Glass.
Who wants what?
I think she meant like porcelain complexion, right? And we've seen those. Those are the ones that make like supermodel status and CoverGirl. It's people with like 0 blemishes. They don't even have like pores on their face. It literally looks like porcelain. That's the ideal. I don't know that Botox closes up pores, though.
No. So then we have, okay, what is clearly a hock of ham.
I'm sorry. That's just
that is supposed to be her skin.
It's all you. It is ham, and this is where the needle comes in.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the skin, and they stick the needle into the ham, and that's a real needle that they're sticking into the ham.
It's a weird bendy thing, though.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it is. So they're sticking it into this ham, and the ham clearly it's got a big fat vein going through it.
So let's talk about the Hollywood ham. Okay. Because in movies, right, when you have yummy upscale dinners and stuff or period pieces or stuff, there's a certain look to every kind of food.
Yeah.
Right. So we have this ham and you've seen it, folks. You take a ham, you cut it, and forget the bone bit, but you have, the pale,
the marbling.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you have marbling, and then you have that dark circle part.
Yeah.
And you can see the real thick, sinewy separation. It's exactly what we were looking at.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cartoony piece of ham, but it's real ham. And they're sticking a needle in it, and this is supposed to be the skin on this woman. And then when there's a lot of this poking. And then the woman looks in the mirror, and she has 38 poke marks in her forehead, little blood dots everywhere.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I don't like this," and wants to leave. And the surgeon pulls her back.
Yeah. Then we cut to Dan the man, and the agent trying to get into Tanya's laptop. Now, I'm glad it worked out this way, because this is what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So now they're hackers, right? And there's only one thing worse than poorly portrayed hacking, like showing stuff that doesn't exist, or like a Windows boot up sequence, or something, to act like they're doing something.
Right.
Just, the shit that really grinds my gears on this stuff.
It really grinds my gears.
Now, the only thing worse than that is to show virtually nothing and then babble about shit that makes no sense. Right? So it'd be equivalent to me just handing them a random list of things saying slide rule, Casio, B flat. And that's supposed to fucking mean something. Anyway. So while they're pounding on this thing, again, like Elmo, the agent says she's, what the hell did I write? Wow, I must have just been way off. The agent says she'll get some information from the office in the morning about all this. And then, this is all where they're sitting there. Dan finds an article about the nurse and the surgeon. And this is awesome. So this was clearly like a Microsoft Word document.
Okay. Can I break in for a second?
Please do.
I used to work for a company that does murder mystery dinners across the country. Like they go into hotels and do murder mystery dinners. And part of the cases that they have is we would pass out these documents to the audience, and it's supposed to be like news clippings, blog articles, various stuff. And it is clearly, they don't have to be real because it's a fun dinner entertainment thing. Right? These are just so people can read them and find the clues for the murder mystery. They don't have to look like actual articles, but they look vaguely they look enough like it that people are like, oh, this is supposed to be an article.
Right.
That was what this looked like.
Exactly. So anyway, the article is about the nurse lady, the surgeon, some twins or sisters or something. It made no fucking sense. And they certainly didn't land on it long enough to read any valuable information. So Dan's quick synopsis was uninformative. And then we cut to Boob Job Lady. She's in the bath. Someone turns out the light, and now it's only candles. She gets out, goes to the mirror, and starts listening to whispers. Yep, from the mirror.
They say beauty is within.
I didn't get what they said the first time. I didn't care. Yeah, we'll get into it after. Anyway, so she checks under the sink, finds a bloody dress, gets upset. The whisper says, "Oh, I did get it. Yeah, beauty's within." She stands back up and sees someone in the mirror, turns, and they're gone. Creepy. Back to Dan and the agent. Dan, now a master hacker, is, and I quote, hacking the last location of her phone, meaning Tanya's.
Yeah.
Hacking the last location of her phone.
Earlier today, I was hacking the location of your phone via Find My iPhone or Find My Friends.
Oh, to see where I was in my shopping journey?
Hacked it.
Jesus Christ. If that had even been what he was doing, I would have been partially okay. But they showed nothing. Nothing. Because they didn't know none of these people know anything about anything that's been going on in this script. Okay. So anyway, they find out where she was last, which makes no sense. Because she should have last been where she said she was going.
Right.
I don't understand the big mystery. She's been gone for like a fucking
right. It's not like she hid she told them where she was going.
Yeah. So anyway, this is what I love. So all this like urgency, and the agent says they can do all this, but not until the next morning. She needs a beauty sleep. I'm like, wow, what a way to push the tension.
Yeah.
So then we're back to the country house. Boob Job Lady wants to leave. Apparently, she's had more surgeries than she can count. But something about this place isn't right. No shit. Later, she hasn't left, and she's with Liposuction Lady drinking in the kitchen. And they're playing some stupid card game with questions that are, number one, not what was written on the card we're shown as they speak it.
Right.
And two, supposed to be deep and meaningful so that the ladies spill their souls.
Yeah.
Liposuction Lady wants surgery because it will make her boyfriend stop cheating on her.
Also, they're all wearing the same shade of lipstick.
I love your comment on that.
The exact same shade of lipstick.
They can only afford one tube of lipstick for the entire cast.
And there's flies everywhere on this set.
I know.
And it's not atmospheric. It's just like, oh, there's a fly in the shot.
Yeah. It's just weird.
They could have added a fly buzzing sound and made it seem on purpose and ominous.
They could have.
And it would have worked for it.
It would have. It would have. So now we have Liposuction Lady. She goes in next.
Well, okay. First of all, they're playing these cards and she's like, I think I'll go next, and just walks away.
Yeah. Well, there was a bit more to it, but it's not worth getting into.
There was nothing more to it. Maybe we should do video for these.
Oh, man.
That was so much work, though.
God, yeah, it was. I don't have time for that.
Anyway.
Yeah. And we can't do video of the whole thing. Just don't want to. So anyway, so she goes in after deciding, oh, I guess I'm going in.
Yeah,
right?
That's how surgery works.
Yeah. So now, okay, she goes. I wrote this part as an aside. I'm like, I don't really care what's happening at this point. So folks, I'm thinking, even if they don't see the face of this fucking thing, because they never like look right at it.
No.
It's always like right behind them. With its back to them most of the time, I'm thinking the tattered, worn, torn up doctor's coat,
bloody,
with blood all over it, should be a clear signal as to the poor nature of this choice.
It should be.
Right? I just had to note that, so, everyone's clear where I'm at. So, then liposuction lady asks, can you do this surgery in the dark? Because the room is dark.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's dark. So I just wrote, holy shit. There's some babble dialogue. And then Belphegor is going on about something, and liposuction lady says she needs to go, but then she's grabbed. And then we cut to Tanya. When you're relying 100% on your notes because you retained almost none of this in your head.
Because immediately you wanted to forget all about it.
Yeah. Okay, so Tanya and Boob Job Lady are drinking on the front steps. Drinking is a huge thing in this movie.
Yeah.
Every time you turn around, they're sitting somewhere having wine. And then we're back to the surgery.
Well, they're out drinking and they're like, I wonder where Botox girl went.
Right. And then, so we're back in the surgery and Belphegor jams a syringe into liposuction lady's stomach and just starts sucking out fat.
Yeah.
Several times, over and over. And then suddenly liposuction lady is bleeding out of her mouth for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Yeah. We get a little bit of a ham interspersed in there. And I'm pretty sure that the fat that's coming out is just custard.
Yes. Yes. It did very much look like custard.
Awesome. So then we see Boob Girl's in the bathroom and she hears the whispers again. And she goes into Tanya's room and is like, come listen to this shit. And then she's talking about how she found these bloody clothes and the clothes are gone. And Tanya's like, you're stressing for nothing. Everything's fine. And Boob Girl believes her.
Yeah, that's all it took.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
So then Boob Girl goes to the kitchen. And I wrote in here, do none of them think it's weird this surgery place is just a house?
Right?
Right?
And that they've all been into this bedroom.
It's not even a spa-like environment. It's just a straight-up house.
Yeah, and it's a straight-up bedroom.
Yeah. And then she gets this look on her face, Boob Girl, like she sees or hears something. And then she goes up the stairs and she sees the Botox girl all messed up. And the Botox girl goes, beauty is within. And I wrote, we fucking get it. And wakes up. Because there's been so many, we haven't included, but there's been so many of these speeches of like, you don't need plastic surgery. Beauty's on the inside. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. How did you phrase it?
What?
About when it says like beating a dead horse?
Oh, yeah. Just, I can't remember exactly how. Oh. But it's just laying there and they're all continuing to kick it. It's already been beaten.
It's fucking bones now, and they're still kicking that bitch.
Yeah, I think that was what I said. And then Dan and Donna are going now. That's it. That's the scene. So I learned Boob Girl's name is Pepper, but I didn't call her that, I guess, for the rest of the movie.
I refused. I've gone with Boob Job Lady this long. She has lost her right to a name.
Sure. She's next for surgery. So Belphegor comes in again. So while that's going on, Tanya's trying to call out but doesn't have any signal. And then the blondie nurse lady comes in and talks to Tanya She's like, you remind me of my sister. And she leaves, and she's conveniently left out this binder that Tanya looks through, and it's like all news clippings about her dead sister that died in a botched surgery or something.
It's the same exact webpage that we saw, but printed out.
Only one news site covered it.
Yeah.
My notes at this point are so apathetic. I'm going to read directly for this next paragraph.
Please do.
Doc ties up Boob Girl. Boob Girl is unhappy. Then we're in a car with Dan and what's her name. Then back with Boob Girl. At least she's screaming while squishy sounds get made. Not enough gore. Then the CGI needle. Car with Dan and question mark?
Agent.
Yeah, agent. Then Tanya's going in for surgery. And I'm like, really?
Can I just, because I made a point to note this. The rope that they used to tie Boob Job Girl was sufficiently big enough that it actually could hold a freighter.
Well, I noted...
Right? This thing is like fucking 7 inches thick.
So earlier with Lipo Girl, the chains that were holding her to the table were comically large. They're like shipyard-sized chains.
Exactly.
This is the kind of stuff you get at like Spirit Halloween stores.
Yes.
For decorating your yard with creepy Halloween stuff. So Tanya's going in for surgery, and Belphegor comes in, and Tanya's nervous, so Belphegor gives her some of that weird liquid and the like olive oil bottle.
Yeah.
And then the doc just like has this hammer and smashes it into Tanya's face. A couple of times.
Yep, smack.
And Tanya scrambles away and leaves the room. And then she's like getting her bearings, and the blonde nurse lady approaches and hits her with an aluminum frying pan.
Yeah.
Which knocks her out, I guess.
Yeah.
So then all the girls are sitting around a table, and they're all fucked up. And Boob Girl, somehow her face has gotten messed up too. But that's not important, because her new boobs are hilarious.
So at one point, you said, they're not even her boobs. She's got her knees under her dress.
Yes.
And I agreed.
She's got her knees tucked up under her shirt.
That is how stupid they looked. Anyway.
So Belphegor is talking to them, like lecturing them about how they don't love their bodies enough. It's like this whole long lecture with horrendous ADR.
It is like 4 solid minutes.
Yeah. So in this, I guess the Belphegor was summoned to bring Blondie's sister back to life somehow by killing girls, and they need 7 of them.
Yeah.
So she's like, so I'm going to do this now, and goes to kill Lipo Girl. So while she's doing that, Tanya unties herself, and Botox Girl also unties herself, and they run away. Just then, Dan and the agent pull up. And Dan is carrying the exact same hammer that Belphegor had and smashed it into Tanya's face.
Yeah. Comes in with a hammer.
It's just a ball peen hammer.
Yeah.
And as the girls are trying to escape, they're somehow locked inside this place that is just literally a house. I cannot stress this enough. It's just a fucking house. How are they locked in?
Right.
The lock is on the inside.
Yep. Yeah, there's no hint of magic other than summoning a demon surgeon.
They're so dumb. And then Tanya's in her room looking for something, but I don't know what. And Blondie comes in and kicks Botox Girl to death, who's been hiding across the hall or something, or in the closet.
Yeah.
And none of this makes sense. And then Tanya's crying very loudly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're going to hear you?
Well, she just left the room and she starts yelling.
I know. And then we're back at the table. And I wrote, I think Boob Girl is dead because Doc had a blood bowl under her at the table.
So as I say, you missed that part. You must have not caught it. Remember she popped her boobs?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And they did like CGI blood.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I guess I didn't write that bit down.
Well,
doesn't matter. And then Blondie comes in and just starts drinking the weird stuff in the olive oil bottles for some reason, and then falls asleep.
Yep.
Yeah. This is really how this movie goes, you guys.
Yeah. So.
Glasses off.
We're ready to talk.
Oh, is that it? I have more.
You have more?
Yeah.
I didn't think it's worth it, but go ahead.
Okay.
Finish it. I don't need to read so I can keep my glasses off. But
yeah. Somehow Dan has gotten into the house that is locked, and he tells her it was the back door, I guess.
Which was the front door they all came in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tanya's screaming and running around. Belphegor comes in and sees the three of them and is like, one of you will be fine. Anyone. It doesn't matter. I guess I was doing all this plastic surgery for nothing. And she takes the agent. And then Dan apparently is now not just a hacker, but an expert on demons.
Yes. He is a Renaissance man.
I guess. Dan's a Swiss Army man. And mirrors are portals to the underworld. So Tanya brings in a mirror and holds it up to Belphegor, which is apparently painful. And then she runs and hides, leaving Dan behind to fight her. And meanwhile, Donna just like fucking dips.
The agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she talks her way out of it.
Uh-huh.
Bolts, hops in the car and just leaves Dan and Tanya.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Awesome. And then somehow Tanya and Dan have met up in a bathroom. And Dan is like, I'm going to go sacrifice myself, and leaves. And Tanya follows him out. And apparently they had a plan that they never discussed or talked about. Because Dan like goes through this whole rigmarole where he's going to sacrifice himself. And Belphegor's like, standing over him.
Whatevs.
Yeah. Like, cool. All I need's a body.
Yep.
And Dan somehow gets Belphegor in a headlock, and then Tanya holds up the mirror while Dan's holding her there.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I wrote, then the doc starts on a very poor CGI fire and twitches for a while, then poofs away.
Not even poofs, just...
Yeah.
The cut. Okay, move out of frame. Action. Just like that. Boom. Yep. Not even or even a sound.
Right. And then they leave. And then we see Blondie stumbling around all like drunky, and she finds the broken mirror. And that was dumb. This is the movie. That's it.
Yeah. So you're supposed to start with something positive.
Okay.
Right? Before you get into, some negative things.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just like to mention, because I forgot to do it at the beginning, I'm immensely proud of finding a use for my iPad mini.
I thought we talked about that last time.
Well, I'm talking about it again.
Because it's a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a positive thing.
Yes.
This is a movie that is finished and out there.
Well, I mean, yeah. So someone wanted to make a movie, and they did.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it was not a good one. Not as bad as Leprechaun Games.
It's better than the last one she did, I guess.
Because that was horrible on 100 levels.
It was.
This is horrible on like 78, 79 levels. So I guess I will say this. If you're doing like drunk movie night and you just want something
stupid,
this will fit the bill.
It'll do it.
If you're looking for like a true horror, you're going to be sorely disappointed. This could have easily been a PG-13.
Yeah.
Right? Because there is zero nudity.
There aren't even the boobs, are there?
No.
It's just some under boob.
It's a little bit of underboob. Yeah, they managed to do a boob job without bare breasts.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah. And, we weren't even supposed to notice they swapped out what looked like a plastic scalpel for a butter knife. And it was just kind of going,
Well, it wasn't even like a straight back and forth. She was like she was slathering jam.
Yeah. It wasn't even like real good fake. I don't even know what was going on there.
Some of the effects in some places were okay.
They were okay. I mean, this is a low budget.
Like, can't be okay.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's what makes a low budget a fail or a success, right? Cinematically. You have to have a good script. You have to have a story that makes sense. You have to have elements in there that follow the tried and true formulas of writing since the dawn of time, right?
Yeah.
You have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You can't keep throwing random shit in. You can't have things happen just to happen. And when something happens, either lead into it or follow up with it. Because not everything needs to be bookended. We've seen movies, all like real good movies, this thing happens. We don't know what led up to it. We never will. But we're going to follow the aftermath.
Well, I'm wondering, because this movie has a clear message. We were lectured on it several times. Right?
Yeah.
Plastic surgery is for, bozos and bimbos, I guess, is the message of this movie.
I'd like to think they were trying to be a little more positive than that.
Were they?
Okay, keep going.
Were they? No, I want to hear your reasoning.
That's one thing I want to talk about is the message, right? Uh-huh. I think it was actually a pretty decent message that could have been given to us once, maybe twice in conversation and left alone. But like you said, every other fucking conversation was just droning on, but to the point where it's like, I want to become a plastic surgeon just so I can do plastic surgery just to spite the filmmaker.
Well, yeah, the horse that they're kicking has been dead so long that it is just a skeleton.
Yeah. And now they're like fucking moving on to hamsters and guinea pigs and, everything.
But do they really think that like anyone, okay, hold on.
Sure.
If you're someone who is planning on getting plastic surgery for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. I'm not really for or against plastic surgery. It's none of I don't care.
Right.
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 It makes literally no difference in my life, whether or not anyone in the world gets plastic surgery.
Right.
But if you're thinking about getting plastic surgery or you've got one scheduled for next week and you're like, I'm going to watch a horror movie and you pop on Doctor Carver, there's no fucking way that this movie is going to change anyone's mind.
No.
If they had an opinion before it about plastic surgery.
No. But so I do get, right, a couple of things they tried to say, but again, poorly written. This was just super bad screenplay. The writing was so subpar, it's comical. I will say that if you were to take a positive away from this in terms of the message, plastic surgery exists for a reason, right? Just like a lot of things we've talked about, they're out there. If you are getting plastic surgery or thinking about it, make sure it's not because of something anyone else said. B, make sure you're not being steered towards this or forced into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has the right to make a decision about their body. And if there's like, I don't like my nose, I wish I didn't have this big bump, you can go get that fixed. And if that's your thing, then by all means do it, right? Do it for you because of you. But if you're doing this for Hollywood, for fucking fashion mags and all that stuff, right? Don't do it because we are way more forgiving, right? In beauty and stuff. I mean, there are beauty magazines that are only going to have the one type, but so many others are doing like real women, right? A woman who, man, that is a pretty woman on that page. And oh, look, looks like she eats. Looks like she might have had a couple kids. Looks like she actually like lives a life.
She looks like a real person.
Yeah, isn't it spending all day gnawing on the same piece of celery she's had for the last 4 months? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other thing is I think the message is, or was trying to be, there are a number of women who are going out for plastic surgery for the wrong reasons or even the right reasons. But because of some sort of pressure, they're not doing their homework. They are going to these hacks. We've all heard about people injecting cement and actual liquid silicone into people's asses and stuff.
Right.
Do your homework. Plastic surgery is expensive. This is not a bargain hunting trip, right? Now, Hollywood. It's easy to get a list of the top 20 plastic surgeons, right? Find the cheapest among them for your procedure and leave it at that. More importantly, if you drive out to an estate that is actually through a dog park at the end of an industrial section of town, and you get there and it's just a house and they have a horribly wallpapered bedroom with just a chair and a table full of not even surgical shit, just weird stuff, you've made the wrong choice. Go.
Right. And the nurse is wearing an art smock.
Yeah. And don't let anyone tell you you just want a free surgery. I think those are the lessons. I think those are pretty salient if we explain them like that. Now, that took a lot of creative energy on my part to fill in those gigantic gaps.
Yeah.
Because it's the same fucking lecture. Same one over and over in this thing. They didn't even try to like mix it up.
Well, when they go in for the surgeries, right? The surgeon is like, why do you want to have this done? That's how she sounds.
Yeah. Why do you want to have this done?
Yeah. Oh. And Tanya's like, because, my nose is funky. And then she's like, why do you really want to have this done? And like keeps grilling them.
Right.
Until she hears what she wants to hear.
Yeah. And then she hits her in the head with a fucking hammer.
Right.
Or ties someone down with a rope or chains. Yeah. Big enough to, hold an anchor or secure a vessel.
And then takes out all her anger on a ham.
What did she do with Botox lady?
She just kept sticking the needle in.
Yeah. Oh, and then at one point it was really weird. Boob job lady looked like her face was coming off.
Yeah, we mentioned that.
What? I still am trying to figure out.
Yeah. And Botox lady at the end, when they like showed them all around the table, she had like pustules everywhere.
Oh yeah,
it was infected.
Oh, she was cratered heavily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were a few instances of let's talk makeup and effects.
Sure.
Let's start dissecting this bad boy.
Oh boy.
I will say mixed bag, because low budget, no budget, you just aren't going to have a lot of stuff. However, be creative. Oh my God, the breast surgery scene, like you said, it looked like literally. I didn't even think it was jam. It looked like she was either spreading honey or like cinnamon butter, but I did not get blood from that.
No.
And also, when you have blood, make an incision.
Right.
It's not hard. You can do it with makeup. Thin black line, dark red around it, right? Little shading, little blending. And I'm talking like just mascara and lipstick. You can make this work. And then have the fake knife with some blood. Boom. Right? Underneath it all, we got something that looks like it's been cut. I'll buy it. Right? I know what quality we're in here.
Yeah.
This isn't, Savini Productions practical effects. But
it's just lazy. It's just lazy.
Well, let's talk about the ham. Because you had mentioned that they could have actually gotten a pigskin.
Yeah.
Right? So if you go to the butcher, you can get like a 6x6 section of pigskin for far less than a ham.
Right?
Because believe it or not, pigskin isn't in high demand.
No.
And usually ends up, going to the pet food plant and
right.
Hot dogs.
Or for pork rinds.
Yeah. But they could have easily done something besides a regular ham. They could have bought like a bald cap.
Yeah.
For $1.99, right? Stretched it over something and just poked it.
Right.
Could have been styrofoam. Could have been a pillow. It's rubber skin.
But like you could see the grain of the meat. It was just like a lot of, okay, some of them were good. Some of them were fine for campy,
right.
B movie horror.
So Belphegor, like you said, was a mask, but they bloodied it up and did all this weird stuff. And you know what? That's fine.
It was fine.
I didn't have any complaints about that.
I wasn't blown away by it, but I was like, yeah, okay.
Well, we knew what we were watching. So yeah, it made sense.
Pretty much all the rest. Well, actually, the very beginning with the girl who they put the face mask on her and then peeled it off and her skin was all fucked up.
Yeah.
That was okay.
That worked out. Yeah, I'll say that one was okay.
The rest were bad.
Well, and the weird thing too is why is Boob Job Lady's face fucked up at all?
No idea. I don't understand.
We would have seen some like monstrously mutilated boobs, but apparently there was a no nipple clause in this whole movie because there was.
I mean, they literally could have just taken a couple of balloons, and even like different sizes, to make it look all messed up. But I genuinely think they had her sit in the chair and pull her knees up and pull her shirt over it.
Well, because they showed her from the side.
Yeah.
And they had those terribly weird tits sticking out. I don't know. Anyway. So the effects, like I said, mixed bag. Some were like, okay, I'm with it. Others were like, wow. So far off.
Yeah.
Could have thought that through a little bit more. Let's talk about casting. That was my big complaint. So if one of your characters is supposed to be flat chested, then don't hire the actor with the biggest tits in the production to play that character.
Right.
It garners the reaction that we had. What?
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, I don't think this is like body dysmorphia. I think we're literally supposed to buy the fact that she's flat chested. And then later she says she's had more surgeries than she can count. On
what? Like her face? Like, right? What are we talking?
Yeah. That didn't work out well. So that was poorly done. But as far as like casting, we've said this many times. If you're going to push the narrative that your main character is a young 20-something, you need to hire someone who's a young 20-something.
Right. Or someone who actually looks
like it. Yes. And a young 20-something, typically, and I don't care if the actor has had a rough life, if the character hasn't, and, you think 24, it is that kind of porcelain face, right? There aren't deep lines on the jowls and creases and
huge crow's feet,
right?
Yeah. I have a youthful face. I have like pretty close to porcelain.
Well, skin. You do, because we talked about it on here. And we were just telling Tyler about it. The little girl at Culver's.
Yeah.
Are you a mommy or are you a kid?
Good question, and thank you for asking.
Well, yeah, and Lily doesn't look like she's in her 20s, but she looks older teen.
Yeah.
And when you guys have been out there, was that
multiple times? Yeah, people so like
same check
go out
or
for
separate
lunch.
Checks.
Yeah.
And
Lily thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, there are plenty of people who in movies, right, that are playing teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Most famously Ralph Macchio.
Right.
He had a very youthful face.
Yeah.
There are people who look way younger than they are, and they play younger parts. And you're almost guaranteed most teen series and things, every one of those fucking people is over 21. Every one of them, because nobody wants to cast a dozen teenagers because child labor laws and Hollywood don't mix. You can't have long shooting days. You can't do all this stuff. You can't have them interact certain ways on the set. Bam. Well, but if I get a 25-year-old that looks like she's, fucking 14 or 15, absolutely we can push the envelope. And, be there for 19 fucking hours.
Right.
So that's how it works. But anyway, casting, please fit the part, right? You have to fit the part, or you have to have the money to change the actor's appearance enough. Like, clearly, Boob Job Lady was at least a D cup. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you can't CGI her into flatness so that, big boobs at the end.
Right. Or even just, tie him up.
Yeah. What? So, Miss Congeniality, okay, Sandra Bullock.
Mm-hmm.
What sense would that movie have made if the first second Sandra Bullock is on screen, she looks like a fucking beauty queen?
Right.
Right? Why are we even here for the rest of this movie?
What's the point?
Exactly. And like all, actors, when you see them on film, that's not how they look. But, Sandra Bullock is a pretty woman, and they did what they could to like dull her down as much as possible to fit the stereotypical FBI agent, clumsy and just unappealing in 1,000 ways. Right?
Well, yeah. And they did the same thing for America Ferrera in Ugly Betty.
Right.
And she most recently, in TV has played Amy in Superstore.
Right.
She's very pretty.
Here's the funny thing. When Ugly Betty came out, I couldn't buy it. I'm like, she's so cute.
I didn't watch it, but I saw like promos and stuff, and I was like, she's not ugly.
No, they gave her extra eyebrows. They did an article. Ugly Betty, I think, was 17 countries took it up and did their own version of it because it was a South American production.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And they all had the same problem.
Oh, that she was too pretty?
Yeah, they just have these wonderfully beautiful women. And they're like, well, let's just slap some glasses on. One, they gave her a unibrow. Solid unibrow. Braces. One of them, they stuck in a fake tooth in the front. Sort of like one of those, Elmer, tooth kind of thing. Didn't work.
I didn't really understand the premise of the show other than they were supposed to make her up to look ugly. And then, maybe, I don't know.
She's supposed to be, she's Ugly Betty because she's supposed to be unattractive, unappealing, and she works in this she works for this high fashion company.
Okay.
Right? Which is all about beauty.
Sure.
And everything. And she's supposed to be the catalyst to all of it. And, it's just kind of it's supposed to be like a fish out of water kind of thing. It got old quick. I stopped watching it not too long after starting watching it because I'm like, the jokes are trope and we're not going anywhere.
Well, it was like trying to make a show out of all those 90s films where it was like
it's exactly
the guy gets a dare to date the ugly girl and then she becomes pretty or something.
She becomes a hot chick and then she won't have anything to do with him.
But she was never ugly. She just was wearing glasses and had her hair in a ponytail.
Right. Or, the Superman / Supergirl thing.
Right.
Put someone in glasses and give him some Brill cream and, couldn't possibly be handsome, cool man, Superman. Or, Cara Danvers, I don't know. She couldn't be Supergirl. She's not pretty enough because she's got glasses.
Or Jackie Daytona on What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
His disguise is that he wears blue jeans and has a toothpick in his mouth.
Jackie Daytona, human bartender. So anyway, let's bring this back around. Casting, right? Do it right. Yeah, it's not hard. Or here's the thing, okay? We're talking low budget, no budget stuff. We've said this before. Rewrite the fucking script. It wouldn't have taken 3 minutes. 3 minutes. All right. So she can't be in there for a boob job. What else is there? We didn't have facelift. We had Botox.
Well,
so we could have swapped out boob job lady for a facelift fiasco, which in the end, it looks like that's what she had. And it didn't work because for no reason, her head is fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know.
And other than her boobs looking like knees under her dress, So that's my thing. You can fix casting. If you can't cast it the way you wrote it, then rewrite it to match how you can cast it. I'm becoming really less forgiving on the suspension of disbelief kind of thing. We have an agreement with filmmakers as an audience. I'm going to take what you present me, and I'm going to do everything I can to buy into your world.
Right.
Right. So you like Blade Runner, Star Trek, Star Wars, horror movies, the top ones.
But you have to help me.
Yeah, you can't film this motherfucker in the middle of Alabama swamps and tell me it's the fucking Himalayas at the height of winter. No. No. You can't put people on the screen and then have them exposition at me.
Right.
Their age.
Like Frozen Sasquatch.
Yeah. You just can't do it. So that was a solid F on the casting on this, because the rest of them didn't matter. Didn't make sense anyway. But for the lead, not good at all. Yeah. And boob job lady.
Yeah. Well,
what do you have?
Okay. So this movie, I think, is a really good lesson in, there are some movies that you can watch, and the whole way through, you can get on your high horse. And I mean, a lot of people do this with like blockbuster movies.
Yeah. But
you could watch this movie all the way through and get on your high horse and think, well, I could do this better. Right. And in a lot of cases, that's all just talk.
Right. Armchair quarterbacking.
Yeah. Not this movie. Because everything they did in this movie was so fucking lazy and uninspired and not creative that I think any idiot can watch this movie and go, oh, I can see 16 ways I could have done that better.
Right.
Oh, I could see 20 ways I could have done that better. And I think that kind of like mental exercise, so long as you're not doing it in like a shitty, snarky way, which is impossible to do this with this movie because it is so lazy. This whole movie screamed to me the whole time I was watching it. Lazy. Lazy, lazy, lazy.
I wonder, I know there are filmmakers out there who churn these things out, right? Like that stupid CGI one that I think is just a bunch of fucking scenes. Read that Bigfoot in space thing that we saw. And This guy has like
that was 30, Bigfoot versus the Illuminati.
Yeah. He's got like 30 of these films.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like remanufactured CGI, and it's really bad at that. And like,
and it's all like just people. Racist incel.
It's the kind of thing
conspiracy
that like
theory.
Maybe he either got
propaganda.
All this shit and bought it as like stock, or he's like a CGI artist, right? Because making like people in spacesuits, that's fucking easy, right? But when you have to do things like Bigfoot, like with texture and hair and stuff, that's where it's hard. And maybe he did all this over a period of years, like in school or something, and then just has all this shit and just pumps all these things out, because it's kind of the same. Look at the clips; it's like the same thing.
Oh, they're all the same movie.
Yeah. But I think there are people out there who do enjoy making movies, and that's fine. If you enjoy making movies, make movies. But I think they just kind of like throw these out. Like,
I don't think anyone involved in this movie enjoyed making it.
Like fast food things where it doesn't become about the art. It just it's a hobby. And I don't think anything like this should ever be a hobby. Like David Axe, he likes to make one a year, but it takes a fucking year because he puts time into it, and it takes long to do.
Yeah.
Right? To do indie film. But it's not a hobby. It's just he does it as he can.
I got to show you the trailer for his new movie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But I think there are people who just do it. Like, just do it. I don't know why. What's the draw if you're just mass producing these things? I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe someone does. I don't know. I'd be happy to hear. But I think this is kind of what that felt like. It was like Leprechaun Games. That was also lazy.
It was lazy.
And it was bad in way more ways than this which is kind of unbelievable.
A woman can make a shitty, dumb horror movie just as well as a man can.
That's just it. We are covering women in filmmaking, and women, can make just as bad a movie as a man. And we're going to make sure we all know that.
Yeah.
We kind of knew what we were getting into, but cheap, silly ass horror is supposed to be fun. This was taxing because number one, if you're doing a horror movie, don't have a message. Don't have a message. We've talked about that. We're here for the horror. We're not here for you to espouse your fucking political, religious, socio-economic beliefs at us. I just want to see man or woman with thing killing other men and women with thing as they scream through the forest or whatever. And I want to see copious amounts of blood. I want to see whether it's chicken skin hanging from a chin.
We've seen that.
Yep. I want to see gore. I want to see your best effort at gore. I want to sit and look at, you know what?
Yeah.
That is terrible looking.
But someone tried.
But I appreciate what you did. And sir, I salute you and I'm ready to go to the next scene with you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
For real.
This was like, God damn, did nobody stand up to this woman and say, you said horror movie. We've been here for like 4 days. Can we have some horror? Because so far, you've had me sit in a chair. You've had me give 5 speeches.
Yeah.
You know.
Although I will say there is a horror movie franchise with a very strong message that I appreciate. And I grew up with this message and I still hold it dear to my heart. The franchise is the Final Destination franchise. And the message is be aware of what is around you.
Okay.
Constantly.
But that's the plot.
I know.
Right? Because not one of these people...
Eyes open.
Not one of these people decided to not have surgery.
That's true.
2 of them decided to flee in terror. Mm-hmm. That was it. They didn't say, oh, I don't need surgery. I think perhaps then I'm going to go into town and do my best to spend some time on myself and bring about the finer things of my life. No. She went, I want out of here.
I don't like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's true. You know.
Oh, man. Jason Voorhees, I guess his only message is, you know what? Keep your eye on the fucking kid who can't swim. No fucking in the boathouse.
Don't fuck in the boathouse.
Otherwise, this shit's going to come back and haunt you.
Yeah.
That's it.
And don't go to summer camp.
You know, and what's Mike Myers' message?
Oh.
You know what it is? You know what it is? I can tell you in one word. Die.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Fair.
Yep. We don't need all that backstory bullshit they've been trying to put into it. The things and returns and resurrection and the Halloween, the final, whatever. No. None of that's important because all he had to say to us was simply die. And here's the best part. He never said it.
That's true.
The quiet killers, you know, and then we have Freddy, who had way too many messages.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger just wouldn't shut the fuck up, which made you really appreciate Jason and Michael.
It's true.
It's like, oh my God, if he could just stop talking. I'd almost want him to kill me if it meant it would be quiet. You know.
But I'm just saying, Final Destination had a great message, which was, eyes open, son. Anything can kill you. And to this day...
Lifeless.
Every time I'm in a situation and I see something and I go, I don't like the way that looks. I get out of that situation.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. All right. I don't think we need to like dive into a bunch of stuff. That would be just getting into minutia.
It's not worth it.
This is something again to watch on drunk movie night. Throw this on. If you're looking for like real horror, no. If you're looking at something that's so bad it can be funny, you can do your own riff tracks to it and, you know, give it the treatment, have fun with it. But, you know, from a creative aspect, see where things went wrong.
I mean, that's the thing. You know, the flies, the guy taking pictures who like no one knew anyone who had a DSLR they could borrow for one fucking scene for a guy to look like an actual photographer.
Right. What'd you shoot this fucking movie on?
Right.
You didn't have a spare?
Yeah. The age, as you said, I'm just looking through my notes really quick. Just, it's just the fucking where did they touch you diagram that she fills out for her surgery.
Well, and here's the thing. Don't try to, I guess the message. So the message is the whole plastic surgery thing that we talked about, right? Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the message that Belphegor was saying. Belphegor is there. I'm ready to just tear shit up. If you summon me, I'll cut your ass up.
Yeah.
I don't care why.
Right. She had no bones about killing either the agent or the boyfriend.
Right.
She didn't give a shit.
And she didn't mess with the
I'm
nurse,
here to kill people.
Yeah, the nurse is the one that summoned her.
And yet she did do that whole lecture about, people fucking up their bodies. But, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just lazy. Just don't be lazy.
Yeah. And she shouldn't have been after people who were, because if you listen to the lecture, this whole thing is about the doctor that fucked up her sister.
Right.
Right. So why is she going after people who want plastic surgery? Shouldn't she be going after the doctors?
Well,
just a little plot analysis I did at the beginning, and I let it go.
Hey, don't worry about it. It's a movie. All right. Hey.
Yeah.
You should check out our website.
lordsofmisruleproductions.com.
That's right. Everything's on there. Right. I don't know. You got it right. Yay. I don't know why I'm so funny to you. Everything's on there. We got a blog. We got episodes. We got links to our social media, our merch store, our Patreon.
Yep.
Links to anywhere you want to subscribe. Everything's on there. Email addresses. If you have something you want us to cover, shoot us a note.
Yeah, reach out to us. Let's do some talking. Mm-hmm. See what you got going, Or
I always feel weird about saying that after we shit on a movie in an episode.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. It's the business.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a point where you can't be in it or talk about it or be real about it if you're just gonna, fucking gloss over everything. We have had some hard notes on some of our scripts. We have had hard notes on our ideas. And you know what? You act like a fucking grown up and you take it. And you learn from it, or you choose to do nothing. Because I'm sure somebody talked to her after Leprechaun Games and said,
I don't think they did, because then this happened.
Okay, fair enough. So anyway, we take as good as or we give as good as we get, right? And we, you just go on with it. Some stuff, spot on. I see that now. Excellent. Other stuff, it's like you have no fucking clue what you're talking about, because I don't even think you're thinking of somebody else's script that you're talking to us about, because that's not even remotely close. But anyway, reach out and do stuff. Oh, I do want to just point out real quick, Beowulf is on Tubi's recommended strip.
Dope.
Yeah, I was going to send a note to David. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but yeah, it's up there. That's pretty cool.
It is cool.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's a big deal. There's thousands of movies on there.
Yeah.
And to make that top 40 strip out of all the different genres is cool. So anyway, yeah, reach out to us and check out our social media. Follow the folks that we're following, and see who's following us, and find your tribe.
Yeah.
It's not an easy business, but you can do it.
You can.
You can do it.
Well,
guess that's going to be it for this week. Oh, Trejo Tribute's coming, barring incident. It is on the books, and it should be following this episode.
It should be. If not, then it'll be coming up soon.
Then it will be a different one.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, B-siders. I think you know what it's all about. Be good to each other. Look for one another. Support one another. Be real with one another, because nobody's going to get good, getting participation trophies.
Yeah.
Got to be honest. You got to learn to take it and live with it. And more importantly, just, keep looking for your tribe. Find them. Hold on to them.
Yeah. And also, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We love you.
Every time.
What? No, really though. Thanks for listening. Like yes. we appreciate it.
We very much appreciate it. And yeah. And we're happy to, shoot the shit. Send an email. It doesn't have to be about being on the show. It doesn't have to be about your work. Just, random things. Because,
reach out to us on social media too.
Yeah. We're a community.
Oh, and if you are a listener, which I hope you are, if you're listening to us talking right now.
I don't know who made you listen then.
I hope you're not being held hostage, being forced to listen to our podcast. Although if you are, I really want to talk to you because that's a very interesting situation that you found yourself in. Hey, since you're listening, give us a review and rate us on whatever platform.
Yeah, please hit the rating, hit like, hit subscribe. If you have time, please give us a review because all that shit matters in the wild, wild world of algorithms. And just makes us easier to find for other people who are looking. You know how it is. We're pandering because that's the way the system is. So please do all the clicks and the things and the thumbs up and the stars. And, you could just write a review. Just write cool. That's all it takes. They don't give a shit what's in it. Just that somebody did one. All right. So until next week, B-Siders, this is Jim.
And this is Danny.
And we will be talking to you again soon.
Bye.